You've got it tuned to KEXP, listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle and streaming worldwide at kexp.org. We're also at 92.7 FM in the Bay Area on the dial and on the KEXP mobile app. I'm Cheryl Waters. Thank you so much for joining me here in the KEXP studios. It is a very, very exciting day. A band I've been listening to for many, many decades. We are so lucky to have them in the studio today. It's The. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
It is such a pleasure to have you here, and beyond excited about the new album, Ensoulment. And it sounds like you're going to play some songs new and old for us today.
We are. We've brought the British weather with us to Seattle. It's pouring of rain as soon as we arrived.
Well, hopefully that means you feel quite at home here.
We do. We love being in Seattle.
Well, this is an amazing band. I got a little sneak listen of you warming up. I can't wait for this live set and to share it with our listeners. It's The live on KEXP.
So, should we take it away, boys?
1, 2, 3. I drink my coffee by the grave of William Blake. Some days, when the hours pass too late, lost in my thoughts, where do I belong? The London I knew is gone, long gone. The sun hangs low, the church bells toll, the clouds unfold, burning gold. When truth breaks through the city walls, the perfidious Albion must fall. Land wraps itself in a flag, pretending it's freedom, a dictatorship in drag. The forever wars, tyrannical laws, the coup d'etats with probable cause, all revealed to little more than a light applause. The sun hangs low, the church bells toll, the clouds unfold with burning gold. When truth breaks through these city walls, the perfidious Albion must fall. Provocateurs in disguise, using slivers of truth to sell the biggest of lies. The lexicon is weaponized, relation, information, criminalized. The dissenters, tongue tied. The sun hangs low, the church bells toll, the clouds unfold with burning gold. When truth breaks through these city walls, the perfidious Albion must fall. By the grave of William Blake, by the grave of William Blake, by the grave of William Blake. By the grave of William Blake.
That was Some Days I Drink My Coffee by the grave of William Blake from our new album, Ensoulment. And next up is Kissing the Ring of Brutus.
Secures our lies like a spider ties up flies. Those hand-picked parasites ruling the servile satellites know who they dare not criticize. A psychopathic superpower spies from the sky, transmitting viruses into the mind's eye. It's vassalage, oh, shriek to Casablanca whore, slaughtered by proxy, the hidden hand. The cat's paw kissing the ring of Brutus under the spell of hypnosis, the proof of psychosis, the cure that nobody noticed. The criminals were anointed, the false flags were hoisted, missiles flattening, nations shattering. Yet even while it was happening, it wasn't happening. By now, so conceited and proud, they brag of their crimes out loud. We cheated, we stole, we lied, we came, we saw, he died. So is this how the empire dies? This constitution withered on the vine, propped up by the dollar and the drone, slumped upon a degenerating throne. Kissing the ring of Brutus under the spell of hypnosis, the proof of psychosis, the coup that nobody noticed. Kissing the ring of Brutus under the spell of hypnosis, the proof of psychosis, the coup that nobody noticed.
You're listening to The live on KEXP.
And here we have a new version of an old song. Take it away, Chris.
the less I know about all the things I thought were wrong or right, carved in stone. So don't ask me about war, religion or God, love, sex or death, because everybody knows what's going wrong with the world. But I don't even know what's going on in myself. Everybody knows what's going wrong with the world. But I don't even know what's going on in myself. Salvation with no explanation. To this earth we fall, on hands and knees we crawl, and we look up to the stars, reach out and pray to a deaf, dumb and blind God who never explains. Everybody knows what's going wrong with the world, but I don't even know what's going on in myself. Everybody knows what's going wrong with the world, but I don't even know what's going on in myself. Everybody knows what's going wrong with the world, but I don't even know what's going on in myself. So long, I can feel it coming down on me. I'm just a slow emotion replay of somebody I used to be. Lord, I've been here for so long, I can feel it coming down on me. I'm just a slow emotion replay of somebody I used to be.
So that was Slow Motion Replay. And next up is Where Do We Go When We Die?
That room, no one was taught about the thing really on their minds. Films, football, and the weather, whatever kept the walls from the door, kept the truth from hitting home. Everything but time was going slow. Where do we go when we die? Seeking proof, searching for signs. Where do we go when we die? The sun may fall, but the moon will rise. Weighing fortune, counting cost. You were rich in all you're lost. What's the point of life? We can never die. You're on my mind all the time. Weak men lie, strong men cry. Where do we go when we die? Sick may fall, but the moon will rise. To the sound of raindrops, to the ticking of the clock, we packed your clothes and your books, took them to the charity shop. The old has ended and the new has begun. Sons become fathers, fathers become sons. And as the rivers flow back into the sea, then so shall we. Where do we go when we die? Seeking proof, searching for signs. Where do we go when we die? The sun may fall, but the moon will rise. And so now we're going to play for our final track, probably our best known track actually. And it was written on a beautiful blue sky day, not like today where it's raining. But hopefully it will cheer people up. It will certainly cheer us up. We love playing this, don't we, guys and girls? This is The Day. Morning, you didn't go to bed. You were watching the whites of your eyes turn red. The calendar on your wall is ticking the days off. You've been reading some old letters. You smile and think how much you've changed. All the money in the world couldn't buy back those days. You pull back your curtain and the sun burns into your eyes. You watch a plane flying across a clear blue sky. This is the day your life will surely change. This is the day when things fall into place. You could have done anything if you wanted, and all your friends and family think that you're lucky. But the side of you they'll never see is when you're left alone with the memories that hold your life together like glue. And the sun burns into your eyes. You watch a plane flying across the clear blue sky. This is the day your life will surely change. This is the day when things fall into place. Life will surely change. This is the day your life will surely change. This is the day your life will surely change.
Oh, that was magnificent. It's the live on KEXP, playing songs from the new album Ensoulment and a couple of old gems like that one. Can't believe that's over 40 years old.
I know. I wasn't even born when I wrote that one.
You and me neither. And listeners request that all the time. It must be just amazing to have a song with such staying power that people want to represent notable occasions in their life, weddings, and I constantly get a request for it when people are birthing children.
I know, and I've met quite a few people who were conceived to it as well. Well, it's what you hope as a songwriter, that you can write songs that become the soundtrack or part of the soundtrack to people's lives. And that song and another song, Love is Stronger Than Death, which is used on sadder occasions, funerals and things like that. But the best you can hope for as a songwriter, as I said, that songs become woven into the fabric of people's lives. So I'm pleased with that one particularly.
Well, your songs have definitely been woven through the fabric of my life. I discovered Burning Blue Soul when I was in college, and then went on to discover Soul Mining, Infected, Mind Bomb, Dusk, Solitude. Hanky Panky was the first album to come out when I was a brand new DJ here at this station in 1994. That came the next year, so I just played the heck out of that. And then I last saw you live on the Naked Self tour, so I'm a little beyond myself to have you all here today.
Yeah, that was at the Moore Theatre, was it?
I feel like that was at the Showbox.
Oh,
but
was it?
But
you
know, been a lot of concerts between now and then.
I know we played the Moore as well, but yes, and then tomorrow we're obviously back again, and it's good to be back in Seattle. I always, when I'm in Seattle, it's a hint of the future that never was, you know, with the wonderful Space Needle and the monorail. And it's a bit like the Jetsons. Remember that old cartoon series where there's this wonderful future, which I think Seattle epitomised. Particularly the World Fair, wasn't it, in '62?
It was
when those things were built up. So it's always. I really always enjoy arriving in Seattle, but I have noticed. We noticed when we drove in that it was hard to see a view. There's so much more building work that has gone up. It's obscuring the lovely Space Needle.
I just saw a post online where someone had a view of the Space Needle in '62, and that was crazy. I've been here since 1977, and even the skyline was much different then.
Yeah, same all over the world. I wrote about that in various songs. I'm quite passionate about old buildings, and on this trip we've been to obviously quite a few cities, but Chicago, I always loved the early 20th century skyscrapers, particularly in Chicago. I think that was very notable for its architecture, even more than Manhattan, wasn't it? Like the Tribune Tower and the Wrigley Building, and later on there was Marina City. And just all across America, I love seeking out the early, I'd say early to mid 20th century. I think was stunning. But since then, I'm not such a fan of what's been going on, the skylines everywhere, particularly London, actually.
If I didn't want to talk about your new album, I could talk the entire time about Chicago's architecture. I love the architecture in Chicago.
Yeah.
I could talk about that all day. Well, Matt, it sounds like you grew up in a life immersed in music. I mean, your dad ran a pub that hosted bands regularly, and you began making music at a very young age. Can you talk a little bit? And also, I don't know how many siblings you have. I know you have a couple of brothers who passed. I'm so sorry for your loss. But those of you I know, you all went into the arts. And so I'm wondering what your childhood was like.
It was an unusual childhood, really. My dad always wanted to be a writer, but he was a docker. He was quite involved in politics in the docks when he was younger. And my mother they came from a poor background in East London, and my mother worked in various factories, but she had, fantasies of being a designer or something, but a lot of those opportunities were denied to poorer working class people, so in England, in the post-war years particularly. And so they wanted their children to sort of fulfill their dreams, I suppose. And so they encouraged us to get involved in, we found our own way. We loved music. My older brother was an artist. There were 4 boys, by the way, and there's 2 of us left. My youngest brother, Gerard, is a film director now, and I score his films. And Eugene was a very talented boy, but he died at the age of 24, so we don't know what he would have gone on to become. But it was an unusual background because we grew up above pubs. And it was a very famous pub in East London in the 60s, probably the most famous music pub. And my Uncle Kenny was a famous music promoter. And he promoted people like Jerry Lee Lewis, Gene Vincent, John Lee Hooker, the Kinks, the Who, a huge amount of people. We weren't allowed into the places to see because the laws were very strict in those days, for little kids being allowed in. But we would sometimes play on the instruments that were left when overnight when they were doing multiple dates. And then I was in my first band when I was about 11, singing cover versions of David Bowie, Beatles, Deep Purple. And then we also started writing our own songs as well. So I knew I was terrible at school. I was a truant and a very naughty boy. And I escaped from school at 15 and worked in a Soho recording studio, which I was very lucky to get that job. And there I was introduced to the delights of Velvet Underground and got into underground music and formed there when I was 17. And then it started off as quite an electronic experimental band. But I always had a love of traditional songwriting, like Hank Williams and John Lennon and Bob Dylan, concurrently with a love of experimental music and a love of film music. And so I've tried to sort of merge those 3 strands by making the records quite cinematic on the one hand, some songs more experimental than others.
And there were a lot of experimental bands in that British scene when you started at such a young age. Wire, Throbbing Gristle, Cabaret Voltaire, The Heat. Must have been just a scintillating time.
It was, and I got to know a lot of those characters. I was a lot younger than them, but they sort of took me under their wing, and some of them, they would let us use their studios and produce us, and it was a wonderful scene that it was very short-lived, what I would call the post-punk scene. Not the punk scene, but the post-punk scene from, say, 79, 80, 81, maybe up to 82. 2, 3, maybe 4 years. A lot of wonderful music coming out of Britain. And a lot of that was actually inspired by German experimental music, which was earlier in the 70s, bands like Can Neu and Faust. But you have these different scenes, different cities. I know Seattle has obviously had its moment, and Manchester, London. Every city seems to have this magical moment. Sheffield, even in the UK, had some wonderful bands. And you have these interesting underground scenes that develop, and a lot of people get attracted to it. And it's a very fertile periods. But the age we're living in now, I suppose, with the internet, it's very difficult for anything to stay underground for long because it instantly has worldwide exposure. So you don't get that incubation period where bands can really take their time to grow and develop. I think things maybe happen too fast in this day and age.
Well, Ensoulment marks the first new music for The in 24 years, and I know you've been making music in that intervening time, as you mentioned, soundtracks with your brother. What was it about this period in your life that brought you back to making a The record? Was there some sort of a catalyst for that creative resurgence?
It was probably my older brother, Andrew, dying. He designed the artwork for most of our sleeves. In fact, we're still using his artwork on the sleeves because he left a very large archive. And I think it was when my younger brother Eugene died, that really knocked me back so badly that everything started slowing down for me then. I did Dusk and then eventually Naked Self, but my career was going very, very slow. I'd kind of lost interest. And then when Andrew died, that was a very powerful catalyst. I realised, all of us, no matter what our age is, we don't know how much time we've got left, and you've really got to make the most of your time, I think. Get your priorities in order, which is often taking care of your family, your friends, trying to be a nicer person and add something positive to the world, but also fulfilling your own sense of purpose. And I realised I love writing songs, I love singing, although I was doing plenty of other things in that 25 years. I wasn't doing what I feel I should have been doing, which was writing songs and communicating. And, I did a tour. We went on tour in 2018, which was the first tour in 16 years. And that was such a wonderful tour because the audience, I'd forgotten how much I'd enjoyed engaging with the audience. And so we toured. It was a brilliant tour. But one thing that shocked me, because I hadn't been on stage for 16 years, the first show we went on stage and I was looking at a sea of iPhones. Because when I toured in the past, it wasn't an issue. So I requestfully asked the audience, I said, look, we're an analog band. Could you please put your phones down in your pocket? Because I like to see people, we all like to see people's faces, their expressions. When you're playing, people have got wonderful faces and you want to see them singing along, laughing, crying. And this problem with this mass iPhone use, you're just looking at a bunch of screens. There's no point even being at the concert, us or them. So I requestfully asked, and most people do, and it creates a much more intense experience because a concert, the band are only half of the concert. Without the audience, we're just a bunch of people in a room playing, and it's so, the audience sometimes need reminding how important they are in the whole process of playing live. That's why we do it. So that was an interesting experience. And since then, this tour has been wonderful as well, and the band are absolutely fantastic. As you heard, I'm very lucky to have these people with me.
You do all sound so wonderful together. And when you talk about that experience with the live shows, getting back out there sort of in a new time, a new era, it makes me want to ask how it has changed for you recording. I know you're likely no Luddite to technology, but you had the opportunity to make albums in a very different way now. How do you embrace and balance what's available now versus what was available over 40 years ago? Well,
I think the important thing is to avoid option paralysis, because when I started out, it was 8-track, 16-track, 24-track. I like parameters. I think limitations actually stimulate creativity rather than the other way around. And so even with something like Pro Tools, I prefer to work 16-track or 24-track. Sometimes it's a bit more than that if required, but to keep it simple. And for Ensoulment, we played a lot of this live. We rehearsed at my studio, and what we tend to do is get a bunch of wooden chairs, sit in a tight circle, and play very low level. We play acoustically. We work out our parts, and we'll rehearse it. And we took it for this album to Peter Gabriel's studio, Real World, which was a residential studio, very well equipped, wonderful studio. And we were able to. It's a very large control room where we can pretty much set up. It was probably probably 4 or 5 times the size of this room. And so we could all see each other. So it's a very live-sounding album, Installment, which we wanted. And then we took the recordings back to my studio to do overdubs and redo vocals, and we mixed it at my studio. So the whole process was quite fast, actually. Even the, the lyric writing was quite intense. I would get up at 5 every morning with a cup of Japanese tea in my little iron teapot, 5 in the morning, where no one could disturb me, and so write for about 5 hours, a little bureau. And it was very satisfying and very intense, and the whole process from writing, rehearsing, recording, mixing was quite fast, actually. And I think that comes across on the album. There's a liveness to it and a warmth, because there was a lot of fun making this album, a lot of laughter. It was a very good experience. It was probably the most enjoyable album I've done in my career, actually.
I was just having that conversation with a coworker yesterday that when there's a lot of love and a lot of happiness and a lot of joy, the outcome is always wonderful.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Well, you can hear that. Well, you talk about your studio, and like your father, you've created a hub of creativity, and I understand it's in a very historic space.
Yes, it's an old, I guess about 140 odd years old. It's a lovely old, it was like, it's a small department store, Gentleman's Outfitters, in the heart of East London. And I've got a wonderful small team working around me, one of whom has been singing with us today, actually, Gillian, who runs my Cineola company for me, and we have a small staff. And I think somebody was asking me in an interview recently, comparing what it's like being a musician now to, say, when I started. And there is a difference, of course, in that record sales are much lower than they used to be, and you have more chance of earning a living live. But there's other differences as well. With the internet has enabled artists to have a more direct relationship with their audience and more freedom, and I feel I had a pretty good relationship with Sony. I was there for 18 years, and I moved to Universal, which was horrible. But the relationship with Sony was quite good. What I didn't like was the old deals that we were all subject to. All artists, all bands signed these very dodgy contracts and didn't really know what they were signing, because a lot of us were kids on the dole, and we were queuing up for the privilege of being exploited by these big record companies. But we had a good time, we saw the world, and if you're able to sustain a career long enough, then you get to a position where you can, you have more freedom. And I'm very happy at the position that I've got to now with the working with people that I like working with on every level. We have a wonderful crew that support us. We have wonderful band members, wonderful team. And you just work with people that you like, and you have a laugh and are creative and traveling from city to city. It's a great life, and I don't take it for granted. And that's the other thing, as many of us, as you get older, a sense of gratitude for the life we've got, life we have. And I feel very, very happy that I'm still doing a job that I love, And probably that 25 years I took off did me good, actually. I'd recommend it to everyone, all the listeners. Take 25 years off, put your feet up, and then come back to work.
Well, I hope it's not 25 years so we can talk you into coming back.
No, how old will I be then? Oh, I can't even think. Old enough to know better.
Well, we're so grateful to have all of you here today. You and the band sound fantastic, and Installment, absolutely gorgeous. And I have to say, in my 30 years of doing this, I haven't started to cry in the middle of a session before. And to have a song over 30 years old, Slow Motion Replay, and that beautiful rendition of that brought me to tears. I thought I wasn't going to be able to talk.
It's funny you say that, because the first time we played that, we were going to drop Slow Motion Replay from the set, but in rehearsals, me and the boys, we just sat round and we thought, let's try a different version. And we did that version, and I started to cry. It moved me.
I'm crying now just talking about it.
It really moved me. I thought we gotta, and I love singing this live. So we'll do, obviously tomorrow night, we do that, and the whole of Installment. We do 2 sets. So Seattle gets a bargain. 2 sets for the price of 1.
Well, I started crying with Slow Motion Replay and just kept going when you played Where Do We Go When We Die, which you wrote for your father, who was set to see you perform live at Royal Albert Hall and died a few days before. That must have been a difficult show.
That was very, very hard, and because there was a box that he was going to be in there with the rest of my family, and to have to go on stage, I was very close with my dad, and you just have to be professional. I mean, you got no choice. I couldn't cancel, so I had to just go in. And luckily, the band and the crew were all wonderful, were very, very supportive, and the audience were as well. I explained as I went on stage what had happened. I thought, look, in case I suddenly forget all the words or I can't carry on, so everybody was on side. It was very emotional. It was a very emotional experience. It's one of the most intense concerts I've ever performed, probably.
Well, a beautiful song and a gorgeous album, Installment. Thank you all so much for bringing it to KEXP today.
And we'll see you all tomorrow night.
Yes.
That's where we have 2 sets, Retrospect and Installment. And we're looking forward to it. The audiences here are always wonderful. And thanks for inviting us on today. We really enjoyed it.
We really appreciate it. We're so happy to have you here, and the joy and the happiness that you exude is so evident, and thank you for sending that out into the world.
Thank you.
You're listening to The live here in the KEXP studios, a beautiful new album called Installment, and a huge thank you to the band, and also thank you to you. You make these sessions possible. We are a listener-powered station, and you can support us with a gift anytime at KEXP.org. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get notification every time a fabulous new video launches. Once again, it's The live on KEXP.
Thank you.
Oh, now I'm going to cry again. That was fantastic. Thank you all so much. Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.